Ty, stworzył chłop woke Minecrafta. O, po Stanach Zjednoczonowemu jest język. I teraz damy na polski. Ej, zobaczmy Minecraft woke.
Spartiatix! I'm gonna add the transgender dragon, pronouns to Minecraft blocks, and war in the Middle East. But first, let's
No w dupę. To nie jest woke! Co ty mówisz? Nie, dobra. Mam perma, nie? No ale luj.
do something that wouldn't be controversial, like turning Endermen into transgender men. 93% of Endermen get really lonely living in
Nie no.
end cities.
Ty, poczekaj, bo to jest na krawędzi ten film. Ale no niby nie ma plus 18. Luj, oglądamy.
So I let you turn an Enderman into an Enderwoman by right-clicking them with shears. And I also added this flirting behavior where Endermen will bring a flower to an Enderwoman they like. And if the Enderwoman does it back, they'll have a child together. I tried to give Ender children a realistic childhood experience, so I added boy dolls and girl dolls.
To jest, no, bo to jest chłop transpłciowy, zmienił się w kobietę i może mieć dziecko, czyli to jest już rozwinięta technologia bardzo. To jest, no dlatego to już nie jest woke według mnie, tylko to jest, nie jest woke Minecraft, rozumiesz?
Dolls for them to play with, and some of them
Wszystko
have
się
to go to
zgadza.
church, and some of them have to watch their parents fight. And based on these experiences and their genetics,
Rodzice się
these
biją.
Ender children could be L, G, B, T, Q, I, A, or even plus. Just like in real life, their identities are very important because different identities drop different pearls. The L pearl teleports you to the nearest girl, the G pearl teleports you to the nearest guy, the B pearl teleports you to the nearest guy or girl, the T pearl straight up changes your gender, and the Q pearl is interesting because it actually teleports you to the Q-tip dimension where everything is made of Q-tips. The I pearl does something I can't say on YouTube. Any mob you hit with the A pearl will never have an interest in breeding. And the plus pearl actually adds another pearl when it lands, so a big plus of throwing this pearl is that you'll be teleporting for the rest of your life. All these pearls are obviously very important gameplay mechanics, so you can set up farms for different Ender children, but you can also combine Ender children to make new letters. Like combining a B and an I obviously makes an E, and a G and a Q obviously makes an S. So now if you build a giant sign, you can actually start spelling words on that giant sign. I also obviously had to add a transgender dragon to watch over the transgender men. But since we're making Minecraft woke, we also need someone to watch over the Ender children. So I added this beginning dimension to Minecraft. Every stronghold
Minecraft
now has
woke.
2 portals in the portal room, and one goes to the beginning dimension, which is kind of the opposite of the end. Everything is made of beginning stone, which is like what end stone looked like before they began texturing it. And the end has these tall obsidian towers, but the beginning has only just started constructing those. Instead of adult Endermen, we have
Nie
beginner
mogę, w
Ender
dupę.
children, or beginner men, if you will. And instead of picking up blocks, beginner men are still learning how to walk and often get stuck climbing
Nie no.
a block, which
Genius.
makes them easy to unalive for these beginner pearls that let you just type in the coordinates you want to teleport to. We obviously also have the beginner dragon, who isn't very dangerous, but most importantly, you can get these new clovers that give you the beginner's luck effect, which means the first time you do anything, you'll get really lucky. For example, when you shoot
Trzeba
your
na
first
sloty z
arrow,
tym iść.
it'll always find a way to hit. And when you place your first sapling, it'll grow into a giant tree. Since we now have a beginning dimension and an end dimension, we obviously need a middle dimension. And the science behind this
O
one
nie.
is that when you throw an ender pearl, you're ripping through the middle of space and time. So
Ah,
now you'll have to
co?
go through the middle dimension, which is sort of like a train station
Witam,
for
Rokita.
teleporting. It's got waiting rooms and coffee shops where teleporting endermen
To
usually
jest
rest
czyściec.
before going back to the overworld. And if you go north, south, or west, you'll find bookstores and bathrooms like you'd expect in a train station. But if you go east, you'll end up in the Middle East, where Endermen are fighting a centuries-long war over Enderman oil, which is
Ja
what Endermen use to
pierdzielę.
teleport. If you want some, you'll
Nie,
have to
nie,
fight
nie.
ISIS, as well as these soldiers
Co ty pieprzysz w dupę?
from the United States of the Middle Dimension. But it's definitely worth it, because drinking Enderman oil splits your screen in two and lets you be in 2 places at once. And it also makes you taller, which helps with dating the Enderwoman and transgender woman from earlier. Just be careful not to get Enderman oil on your face, because that'll give you Enderman pimples, which teleport around your body and are less helpful for dating. Between the beginning dimension and the middle
Ja
dimension is
pierdzielę,
obviously
to
the
jest
quarter dimension, where
zbyt
everything is
przemyślane.
made of quarters. And if we consult this graphic, we're now clearly missing a dimension here, so I also made this 3/4 dimension where everything is made of 3/4. If you die in one of these fraction dimensions, you'll end up in the 1/8 dimension, where only 1/8 of every chunk generates and the rest of it is just empty. But you can work your way up to the 7/8 dimension, where 7/8 of every chunk generates. If you die in one of the
Zarąbiste.
8th dimensions though, you'll end up in the 1/16th dimension, where a girl is always celebrating her sweet 16. But some of you guys are like 25, so you should definitely not be anywhere near here. So let's go to the 1/32nd dimension, where a girl is celebrating her 32nd birthday and also having a midlife crisis. Going through all these dimensions is worth it though, because then you'll end up in the 1/64th dimension, where every block is a stack, so you get 64 blocks every time you mine a block. As you can see, this is crazy for getting infinite diamonds, but what's really crazy is you can do all this before your pearl from earlier lands. Being woke is all about pronouns and identities, and Minecraft Andesite has a huge problem. It has no pronouns, and it's so similar to
Zaimki,
Minecraft
najważniejszy
Stone that it has no
element
identity.
gier.
Luckily, I'm here to give it a nice orange color to let it stand out, and then I gave it some eyes and a nose and a mouth, and now it's Mandesite with he, him pronouns. Since he's woke and has a strong identity though, you won't be able to just craft Mandesite stairs like normal, and instead you'll have to use shears and cut them up yourself. You do need to at least wash your hands in some water first, or else the Mandesite stairs might get infected, which is pretty gross. And what's even grosser is that it'll start leaking pus all over your world. You can also cut up Mandesite blocks into these upper and lower Mandesite slabs. But instead of polished Andesite, we have polished Mandesite, who looks very handsome. In fact, he looks so nice that I added a womandesite for him to go on dates with, which is great if you want to build with pink stairs or pink slabs. And now we can finally have entire woke houses in Minecraft. Since I'm making Minecraft woke, I do need to remove all these statues of Christopher Columbus in front of the house though. But in order for us not to forget the oppressive and long-lasting consequences of colonization, I did let you colonize villages in Minecraft so that you would feel guilty when you did it. When you find a new village, you have the opportunity to give them foreign diseases like smallpox, which, just like in real life, will eventually turn into big pox that eventually burst and leave chunks missing in the village. This obviously leaves the village weak and easy to colonize, but the trade-off is you'll get the villager diseases, which make your nose and head swell up and leave your arms combined together so you only have one usable hand. You might have also noticed that this villager colony isn't very useful since they're so sick, so I let you bone meal their big pox wounds to regrow their limbs. And since ant colonies are so efficient, I made it so that giving these villagers a little extra bone meal will turn them into something of an ant. And just like an ant colony, this villager colony is great at overwhelming its opponents and carrying structures that are 50 times heavier than themselves. Ant colonies usually have a queen ant, but since this is a woke Minecraft video, I gave these ant villagers a drag queen instead. And I was gonna end the video here so that it would be under 8 minutes and you guys wouldn't get an ad in the middle. But the current
Idealny film oglądamy po tym, przed chwilą tej aferze z J.K. Rowling, nie? Idealny film o tym.
Topic is immigration, so I had to add illegal aliens to Minecraft. I started by adding these regular aliens to the game who can enter a village legally by landing their spaceship and going through this new border patrol structure. And if you want to, you can even hop in the border patrol booth yourself and manually approve or deny immigrating aliens.
Papers, please.
But these aliens are just like regular villagers in that they'll work and farm and help to build houses. And they actually get along so well with villagers that you can end up with villager alien children. But the only problem is that sometimes you'll get an evil alien who kind of follows negative alien stereotypes and really wants to abduct cows in his UFO. This is obviously annoying, so you'll probably build a giant wall around your cows to keep the aliens and their UFO beams out. But the evil aliens were prepared for this, so they brought these rideable birds from their home planet that kind of look like eagles, but they're green, so they're obviously eagle aliens. And if you throw a potion of nausea on them, you'll get them sick, and that's how you prevent the illegal aliens from stealing your cows.
Ej, ten Minecraft woke to chyba najlepsze, co wymyśliło woke do tej
Dał na
pory, nie?
miliardę 5 złotych. Wpłacam wpisowe do sekty za lipiec. Jakie jest nowe hasło, bo ostatnio mnie nie wpuścili na mszę?
Witam serdecznie. Siwy, bo będziemy grali siwego cały lipiec.
If you liked
Zapamiętaj.
illegal aliens, or any of the like 10 dimensions I added, or being able to make transgender men, please like the video. I'm adding literally being woke for too long and getting sleep deprivation next time, so subscribe to not miss it, and I'll see you soon.
Zarąbista.
Husaria! Mamy znowu szansę przyjąć Europę! Husaria! Brrr! Husaria! Mamy szansę!